Izzy Gizmo by Pip Jones. Izzy Gizmo, a girl who loved to invent, carried her tool bag wherever she went, in case she discovered a thing to be mended or a gadget to tweak to make it more splendid. But the trouble with things that have dials and switches is they don't always work. They have certain glitches. The tea menders, for instance, did such a fine job till out popped a piston and off dropped a knob. Then the swirly Spagsonic for eating spaghetti turned Grandpapa's wallpaper into confetti. The Beardtastic had Grandpa near perfectly styled till the foam overflowed and the clippers went wild. Well, Isabel, who was so clever and bright, would get rather cross when things didn't go right, and she huffed, "It's a duff. I've had it. I quit." She kicked her invention and called it a twit. Isabel fumed. Grandpa smiled and chuckled. "You can't give up just 'cause that thingy-bob buckled. Now trust me, young lady, sometimes you need to try again and again if you want to succeed." Perhaps Grandpa was right, but still Isabel sighed. She picked up her tool bag and wandered outside. Kicking the stones on the path as she walked, Izzy jumped at a bump. Up ahead, something squawked. From the clouds a poor crow had taken a tumble and landed kapoof in a feathery jumble. Izzy ran to the vet, but the vet shook his head. "His wings are too broken to fix," the vet said. "Perhaps take him home and there you could try to teach him to live as a crow who can't fly." Day after day, Izzy thought she had found something fun for her crow to do on the ground, like digging for worms and racing fat slugs, hopscotch and hula hoop and searching for bugs. But the heartbroken crow simply gazed at the sky as the other birds sang and flew happily by. One night, with the crow in the folds of her sweater, Izzy sighed, "Oh, I wish I could make him feel better. I've tried. He won't play, he won't drink, he won't eat." She was so close to very admitting defeat. Grandpa said, "Izzy, don't give up on him now. I know you can do it. Just work out how." Then Grandpa passed Izzy her gadgety things, and she knew what to do. "I'll invent some new wings." Izzy piled up her books and she started to read. Then she made a long list of the things she would need. She searched for some batteries and old electronics, dismantled a mixer and the swirly Spagsonic. The crow watched entranced, and he held Izzy's drill while she bent, bashed and battered and walloped until, ta-da! Izzy fastened the wings with a strap, but they hummed and they twitched, far too heavy to flap. "Ugh!" Izzy yelled. "I'm not good at succeeding." The crow softly cawed, his beady eyes pleading. "What now?" Izzy sighed. "Try again," Grandpa said. "Okay, follow me." And with that, off she sped. Izzy dived in a pond where she borrowed a pump. Then she took from an engine 2 sprockets, a sump. Izzy fastened the wings. They were light, they were curvy, but the wings the wrong shape turned the crow topsy-turvy. "I give up!" Izzy yelled with a furious frown. The crow sadly cawed as he hung upside down. So Izzy unscrewed the head from the shower, found special circuits to adjust the wing's power, and finally, using her trusty old pliers, she borrowed the motors from 2 big blow dryers. "Yes," Izzy said, "the right shape, perfect weight," but one wing flapped madly. The crow couldn't fly straight. "I've had it," yelled Izzy, heading straight for the bin, but the crow blocked her path. He just wouldn't give in. Izzy twizzled and tinkered, and using his beak, the tip-tapping crow gave the screws a good tweak. Then he loosened the cog from Grandpa's old mixer. "You can fly!" Izzy cried. "Oh, your name should be Fixer." After 2 loop-the-loops, Fixer came into land and stood happily cawing upon Izzy's hand. "You've tried very hard," Grandpa said, "and succeeded. You kept at it, Izzy. You did what was needed. But don't pack up your tools. Your day's not quite ended. A few things around here now need to be mended." Hi, today we are going to need our knowledge of adjectives because we are going to look at adding some suffixes. That's a tricky word. Suffix, can you say it? Suffix.
suffix. Suffix is a group of letters that just get added onto the end of a word and they change the meaning of the word. So we're going to look at two suffixes today, and they are both suffixes that need to be added onto the end of adjectives. So we need to know what adjectives are. An adjective is a word that describes, it tells me more. So if I'm talking about my hair, tell me more about my hair. It's long, it's blonde, it's knotty. All of those are adjectives. I could say that my jumper is yellow and warm and cosy. I could say that my pen is green and useful and short and round. I could say that I am fast. I might be a really fast runner. Let's see if we can create a little bank of adjectives that we will be able to use later on. Let's write them down. Okay, let's have 30 seconds. Let's see how many adjectives can we come up with in 30 seconds. 30 seconds isn't that long, but I reckon we can come up with a few. I already liked the word fast. Tall, short. Yeah, we use the antonyms. We use the opposite words. Tall, short, long, brown, clear. Ooh, like a window, clear. Go on, let's see if we can come up with two more. Hard, yeah, well done. And if we're going to use hard, we should use the opposite. We'll use the word soft. Okay, so we've got 8 there. 8 adjectives that we can use to help us later on. We won't have to think of adjectives to start with. We'll be able to use those to add our suffixes onto. A suffix is a group of letters that come together at the end of a word. The suffix that we are going to look at today is ER and EST. So 2 separate ones. Either we can add ER or we can add EST. Let's have a look at what that suffix looks like just by itself. So I'm going to turn my board over and try not to rub the words off the other side. So here are my 2 suffixes, look. ER and EST. Both of these change the meaning, they alter the meaning of the word that they are added to. Now, in this case, they can be used for comparison. So this one, ER, means more. So if I were to say, use the word long, like my hair, then I might say, well, my hair is longer than your hair, or your hair is longer than my hair, or I want my hair to be longer. So the ER makes that more. So it's long, but I want it to be longer, or your hair is long, but my hair is longer. It's more long, but we don't say that because that's not grammatically correct, okay? So ER means more. EST on the end is when it is the most it can be. So if we use the word long, we'll add ER. And then if we use the word long with the other one, all we do when we're using a suffix is we start with the word, look. So I have the word long, and then I just write ER after it, and that means more. EST means the most. So nothing can be longer than something that is the longest. It's not a hard and fast rule that you can apply to every single adjective, because some adjectives it isn't grammatically correct to say. Sometimes we would say something was more rather than saying the ER on the end, which is really complicated, but it's to do with grammar and making our sentences grammatically correct. But that is the rule of ER and that is the rule of EST. Let's start with our words. So if you don't have something already, then grab yourself something to write with and something to write on. We've got all of our base words here. We're going to start with these 8 and then we will come up with some more and we'll see if we can add them into sentences as well. So here are my base words. And then all I would like you to do is from the word fast, I would like you to create the word faster and the word fastest. So how would you go about doing that? So if you're using the word fast, I'll do it on this side so that I don't lose all the other words. So if you're using the word fast, then we just write the word fast, and then maybe underneath that, so that we can still see how it happens, we could write fast, and then we add the ER on the end for faster, and exactly the same, we start with fast and we add EST on the end for fastest. So fast, faster, fastest. The next one was tall. So from the word tall, can you create taller and tallest? Yeah, well done. You write the word tall and we add ER for taller and tall, and then we add EST for the word tallest. Nobody can be taller than the tallest person. Okay, short was the next one. So let's practice with that one. So we write the word short and then we add ER, and then we write the word short and we add EST. Simple as that. Well done. Okay, brown is the next word. Brown. Browner. Might say it was more brown, but for today it's fine. And it's the brownest. Clear. Clearer. Clearest. And we just write the word and then ER, or the word and then EST on the end. Absolutely. Hard. Can you show me that one? Hard. Hard. Est. Well done. And soft. Soft, soft, S. Well done. C. It was really useful to have a bank of adjectives there that we could use to help us, but you did an amazing job at that. It's not super complicated. Let's see if we can write some sentences that use those and est suffixes. I think the easiest way of doing that is to write some comparisons. So I am going to write about me. So I'm going to write, I am faster than my brother and my mum is the slowest. So I'm not going to use faster and fastest. I'm going to try and use two words. So that's my sentence. If you can't think of your own comparison one, then you can use mine. But let's see if we can have two in there, an and an est. So I am, don't forget that sentence always starts with a capital letter. So I am fast, and then just my on the end, faster than my brother, but my mum is the slowest. Here we go, look, capital letter, finger spaces, full stop because it's a statement, and then I've got my est one here and my one here. Nice job. How did your sentence go? Oh, nice. Okay, let's see them. Let's see if you can write another sentence and I'll write one too. I'm not going to tell you about this one. Yeah, what are you going for? Don't forget you need the ER in there. You need an EST in there as well. Try and get both in there. Yeah, I went for another comparison because that was easier. Oh, do you know what? As I'm looking at my sentence, I feel like I have certainly made some mistakes. I wonder if you can help me with where my mistakes are. Let's read it first. The fox is taller than the mouse, but the tree is tallest. Ah, right, let's start at the beginning. At the beginning of a sentence, we need a capital letter, and capital letters are big, and a capital T actually looks different to the lowercase one. Okay. What's next then? The fox is, oh, what suffix goes on the end of the word for it is taller? Because I put an which is what it sounded like. but I don't think that's right. No, it should be ER. Silly me. ER. We all make mistakes. It is taller. The fox is taller than the mouse, but the tree is Now, in actual fact, my two L's look like a different letter entirely, but that wasn't where my mistake was. Tallest, but it's not ist at all, is it? It's est, tallest. It's just not how it sounds. It was the tallest. Okay. Are we all right? Oh, no. Because a question mark is for a question, not for a statement. And mine was indeed a statement. Okay, let's see if we can do one more. Let's see if I'll write a sentence and then we'll see if we can work out which word and est word would go best in it. So, I might not have left enough room to fit it in there. Let's just go for one. And in actual fact, both would work. The worms are best for hunting. Which worms do we think? The longer or longest? Wiggliest? Is wiggliest a word? Maybe. Yeah. That's where it becomes tricky because we wouldn't say energeticest. We would say the most energetic. But yeah, absolutely. So the longest worms are best for hunting. You guys did a great job today. ER, more than, EST, the most, and we just add the letters onto the end of the word that we're starting with. The words are generally adjectives. Well done. You did an amazing job today. Whatever you do with the rest of your day, have a great one. Bye-bye.
Hi. So today we are going to have a look at counting in tens, but we are going to be looking at counting in tens from any given number. So you're going to need something to write on and something to write with. It doesn't matter what, you just need something to write with and something to write on. So if you don't have that, then pause the video, go find it and come back to us and we'll get started by doing some practice, some counting in tens. Okay, let's get ready then. Let's warm up. So let's start by counting in tens from 0, but in this case, we will use our arms. So I'm going to use my full arms out and my full arms in each time we go. You could choose a different action. You could choose jumping or hopping or whatever you want. But we're going to go all the way up to 100 and then we'll come all the way back down to 0. Initially, let's start from 0. Are you ready? Let's go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Well done. Can you come back? 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 0. Nice job. Counting in tens from 0 is quite an easy thing to do. But counting in tens from any number, that's much, much trickier. Let's start by writing down those tens numbers as we go. We'll see if we can do any pattern spotting. So we had 10. Well, let's put 0 at the top. And then we had 10, 20. Now I am writing my numbers underneath each other in a big long line. If you do the same, then the patterns are much easier to spot. So we did 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then 100. Well done. So your big long list should look like mine. Now, what you'll notice is that all of these numbers end in a 0. That's because they are tens numbers. So these are our T numbers, T. So 20, 30, 40. Sometimes we get them confused with our teen numbers, and teen numbers start with a 1 and our T numbers end with a 0. So this is 30, not 13. 13 would be a 1 and then a 3 because it's 110.
and 3 left over. So these are all our T numbers. They go from 0 through to 90, really. 100 obviously isn't a T number, and they all end in 0. Now, if we look at our numbers, you'll notice that this digit here, this ones digit, stays the same all the time. But this one here, the tens digit, that changes. Can you see how it changes each time? Absolutely, well done. It goes up by 1. So each time we add on 10, we change that tens digit by 1 more. So if we got rid of all of our zeros here, look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 here, because technically 100 is 10 tens. Wow, that's the easiest sort of counting, isn't it? Counting in ones. We can use that to help us. So let's see if we can start at the number 5. Put the number 5 at the top of your page. We'll start a new column next to it. And what we'll do is we will count on 10 more, and then we'll see where we get to, and we'll write it down. And we'll do that all the way up to the bottom of our page like we did before, and then we'll see if we can spot any patterns. Okay, so 5 in our head. Ready? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Teen starts with a 1. So 1 and 5. Okay, 15 then. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So a 2 and a 5. 25. Brilliant. 25 in our heads. 10 more. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. 35. 3 and 5. Well done. Right, 35 in our heads. Count on 10 more. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. 45. 4 and 5. Brilliant. Okay, 45 in our heads. Let's count on. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. 5 and 5, 55. Brilliant. Write that one underneath, and then we'll start at 55 and count on. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Brilliant. 6 and 5, 65. 10 more. 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. So underneath we write 75. 75 in our heads. 75. 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. So we're at 85 underneath. We're getting there. 85 in our heads. 10 more. 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Write that underneath, and we'll stop there. So next to our T numbers, next to our tens numbers, we should have this row here. We know that there are 10 in between each of these because we counted 10 more. We counted on 10 each time. Can you have a little look at your numbers? And if you didn't write them down, you can use mine. Can you have a little look at your numbers and see if you can spot a pattern in this column here, in this one here where it's the 5s? Can you see a pattern there? Yeah, well done. Let me just, if I draw a ring around my tens numbers, look. These ones are the ones that change, and they change by 1 each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 would come next because it would be 105. But what about those ones? What about that ones column? Yeah, it doesn't ever change. It stays the same. So if we are trying to find out what 10 more than a number is, well, then the units, the ones, they stay the same. and we just add 1 onto the tens. So if we had the number, we'll do a random one. If we had the number 65, we'll do 65 because we can double check it in a minute. If we had the number 65, then the 5 stays the same because that's the ones, and it's the tens that change. So 1 more than 6 is 7. So 1 more than, we can double check it. Look, here's 65. 1 more than 65 is 75. So to find 10 more than any number, we just have to keep the ones the same and change the tens digit. And we just add 1 more onto that tens digit. If we wanted to find 10 less, we wanted to go backwards, then the same thing happens. Our ones stay the same and we take 1 off. We count backwards 1 with the tens. Let's see then if we can do another column. So we've got our T numbers, our tens numbers. Then we've got counting in tens starting from 5. Let's see if we can count in tens starting from 1. Let's start from 1. Okay. So to start with, we have 1, and then we have 1, 10, and 1, 1. So we have 11. Well done. And then we would have 2 tens and 1 more, 3 tens and 1 more, 4 tens and 1 more, 5 tens and 1 more, 6 tens and 1 more, 7 tens and 1 more, 8 tens and 1 more, and 9 tens and 1 more. So we should have 1, 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, 81, 91. Yeah? Okay, I have space for 1 more row on the edge of my page. So let's see if we can do it starting at the number 7. So we have 7, 1 10 and 7, 2 tens and 7, 3 tens and 7, 4 tens and 7, 5 tens and 7, 6 tens and 7, 7 tens and 7, 8 tens and 7, 9 tens and 7. Well done. And it's such an easy and quick way of doing it that if we're not 100% confident with how we go about working it out quickly, we can just write the whole lot down. So we have what? 7, 17, 27, 37, 47, 57, 67, 77, 87, 97. And then we would have 107, where the ones stay the same and it's the tens change, and technically we add 100 on there as well, but we can think about this as 10 tens because 100 is 10 tens. Okay, let's not write it down then. Let's see if we can start from 9 and we will count in tens starting from 9. Are you ready? Let's go. 9, 19, 29, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79, 89, 99. Well done, 109. God, you're so good at this. Okay, if we can do that, if we can use counting on in tens by starting at the ones and counting on and counting on and counting on, then we should be able to do it starting at any number. So if I say to you, 16, can you write the number 16? We'll do it writing because it's easier to see it. You write the 16 and then can you write what 10 more is underneath? Think about how you would go about doing that. The ones stay the same and it's the tens that change. Well done. 10 more than 16, 26. Okay, 10 more than 27. Think about how you would do it. Well done. 10 more than 27, 37, because the ones stay the same. The 7, 7, And it's this that changes. We just have one more. Okay, 10 more than 38. Oh, we haven't done any with 8s. 10 more than 38. Well done. The 8 stays the same and the 3 changes to 4. 48. Okay, 10 more than 42. 10 more than 42. Well done. 2 stays the same and the 5 changes. The 4 changes into a 5. 51. Well done. Okay. 61 was our answer. Okay, so if we can do it that way, by noticing the pattern, then we can also find 10 less in exactly the same way. So let's start with 88. So 88 is our number. Our ones will stay the same. So 88 was our number. Our ones will stay the same. And our tens digit will get less by 1. Well done. 10 less than 88 is 78. Okay, let's start at 70 then. Let's go 79. What is 10 less than 79? So if you write it down, you can pattern spot if you're not sure. The ones will stay the same, so we've still got 9. And the tens change, and they change by 1. Wow. So we can use this to help us in lots of different ways. So we could use this to add on. So if we were trying to add on teen numbers, for example, so if I was trying to add 13 onto a number, that's quite a lot of counting. But what I could do is I could add 10 and then add the 3. In exactly the same way, I could do that with lots of other numbers, and I could also do it with counting backwards if I was trying to work that out. So it's certainly one of those skills that we can use in lots of different mathematical scenarios. So it's an important one. So if it's something that you found a little bit on the tricky side today, then keep practicing. Do write it down like we did, because it is really useful to be able to spot those patterns. And like with anything, the more we do it, the easier it becomes. And once we've written it down, if we then practice going through it and reciting them, then being able to count in 10 from any number will be as easy as being able to count in 10s from 0. I think you've done an incredible job today. Keep practicing, but whatever you do with the rest of your day, have a great one. Bye-bye.
Hi. So I'm all dressed up. I'm ready to go for a walk today. So I thought maybe we could go together and we could have a look for different types of trees that we might find. I think we will find lots of different types of trees, but I think that they will fall broadly into 2 categories, because either they will be evergreen or they will be deciduous. Now, both of those are big old words. So let's break them down. Let's see if we can say them and then work out what on earth they mean. The first one is an easy one to say because it's ever and green just put together. It's a compound word. So evergreen. And an evergreen tree, well, the clue is sort of in the title. It's always green. It's ever green. It always has leaves on it. Whereas a deciduous, that's a tricky word. Can you say that? Deciduous. What a deciduous. A deciduous tree is a tree that doesn't have leaves on it all year round. So it changes throughout the different seasons. That's not the name of the tree. So I know that out on our walk, we might see a willow tree, a weeping willow tree, and we're bound to see an oak tree and a beech tree. Those are their names, and each tree has a different type of leaf, and that's how we can tell the difference between them. And depending on how far we walk, we might also go and see some fruit trees as well. And obviously when the fruit trees flower, they get fruit. We can eat off those trees. So obviously we could have like an apple tree or a pear tree or a plum tree, but all of those fall under the arch of being deciduous. Right now is a really good time of year to go and look at the different trees because it's really clear which ones are deciduous, because at the moment they don't have their leaves. So in the autumn, the trees lose all of their leaves, the leaves fall off. Over the winter, they get crunchy and the trees look all bare. And then in the spring, the trees start to shoot. They get the little buds and then they get the leaves. And then through the summer, they get their flowers if they are flowering. Not all trees are. And then the whole cycle goes on again. But right now, it's in between winter and spring. So it's quite, because it is February when I'm filming, I appreciate it might not be February while you're watching, but that's useful to know, because if you go out and look at the trees and it's a bit later in the year, then they may well have all of their buds or their leaves on now, because that's part of that process for a deciduous tree throughout the year. But you would still know what you were looking for. It's just easier to do it when they don't have lots of leaves on. At the moment, the deciduous trees don't have all of their leaves. They're not full of leaves, and we won't find fruit on them at this time of year either. The evergreen trees will be full of leaves. They will look the same all year round. Now, I do know of 1 or 2 plants that are evergreen because they have leaves all year round, but the leaves change from being green to red over the different seasons. That's quite interesting. And they look very beautiful too. So we'll go for a walk and we'll see what we can spot. We'll see if we can work out whether they are deciduous or whether they are evergreen. But let's go for a walk first. Let's go.
So I thought we would come for a walk at the park, where there are lots of trees that we can go and explore and have a look and see if we can spot the deciduous ones and the evergreen ones. It's pretty easy at this time of year, to be honest. So along this big field here, there are a big range of like various different trees, and some of them are younger and therefore they're smaller, and some of them are older and significantly bigger. But we can also see quite clearly that some of them are still green in the winter and some of them are very much bare at this time of year. And there's also an awful lot of leaves still on the ground. In that shady patch over there, there's loads, which is always a good sign of lots of deciduous trees, because obviously the leaves come off them. Now, this one here is an evergreen, and it is like a fir type tree. So there are a couple of different ways that you can spot an evergreen tree. If I come a bit closer to it, you can see. So this one has like fir-like, it's in actual fact a conifer. It has like fir-like leaves, and they're also quite waxy, which is one way that you can tell whether or not a plant is evergreen in the summer when all the leaves are out. So there are some silver birch here, there are some big old oak trees, and they will all have different leaves in the spring when they come out. This one here is another conifer based one, but there's some shrubs over here that are obviously not conifers. They have teeny tiny leaves and they're really, really waxy. So I'll take you and I'll show you. But so these ones stay green all year round, and these are great for exactly what this is as a border. But their leaves are teeny tiny, but they're really waxy too. And then if we go just a little bit further round, beyond this one here, which is clearly evergreen, there is one here, look. Now this is a willow tree, it's a weeping willow tree, and at the moment all of those are branches, but in the in fact there are two, there's a little one there, a huge one. In the summer and the spring, these will be really green and lush, and they have really beautiful little like white pollen that come out on them. So yeah, these are really pretty one. But a good way of checking, so we found these ones that were like a fir, kind of look like a bit like a traditional sort of Christmas tree. And then if we look at the leaves of another plant, look, so this one is one that is off a deciduous tree because it's fallen off, and you can see that it has a raised stem and a vein structure, so it's easier to see it on the back than it is the front, but those veins are what help to carry the nutrients around the leaf. So you can see that in lots of these leaves that have sort of fallen on the floor, because obviously they've come off deciduous trees. There's another example here. This one is off an oak tree, and you can see the main stem through the back of it, and then the veins that come through it as well, whereas the evergreen tree doesn't have that in quite the same way. Now, I did actually get a leaf off an evergreen tree that doesn't fit this rule, because this one is off like an ivy bush, but you can see that they're nowhere near as pronounced, and that, hold it in focus, it's much more waxy, like we were talking about earlier.
So we went for a beautiful walk in the park, and we spotted loads of different evergreen and deciduous trees there, but we also have an allotment that we use for growing fruit and vegetables and things like that. So we have lots of fruit trees here, so I thought we'd have a look at them and see whether or not we thought they were evergreen or whether they were deciduous. So let's go and have a little nosy at the various different fruit trees that we've got here.
So if we start down here, then we have bushes here. These are berry bushes, and these will have blueberries on them. And then up here there are pear and apple trees. Now it's really clear that these trees, all these fruit trees, are indeed deciduous. They're very much not evergreen. And at the moment we are at the tail end of winter, coming into spring, and they have got the little buds on them, so you can see that they're starting to think about shooting those leaves, and then from those leaves we will get flowers, and from those flowers we will get the fruit. So anything that has that sort of process is generally deciduous. So we've got pear here, and then round the edge we've got lots and lots of apples. These are apple ones all down here. Now at the moment obviously there's not a lot on there, but you can see there's lots and lots of buds for leaves, so there will be. And although they're not the biggest trees in the world, they're still quite young, they're still in their infancy. You can see that one there is only very little, but they actually produce quite a lot of fruit still. It takes years and years for a tree to be big and established, but it only takes a couple of years for a tree to give fruit. So just inside this big cage here, this is a fruit cage, so we'll go inside there. There are some more deciduous bushes, so these ones will be trees, but the ones just inside will be fruit bushes. So let's go and have a look at those as well. Okay, so in here we have a range of blueberries and raspberry bushes as well. So these ones here are blueberries, and you can see, if we get in nice and close, you can see lots and lots of little buds. So these will blossom all the way out. They'll be full of leaves, and then from that you get the flowers, and then from the flowers you get the fruit. So hopefully lots and lots of blueberries this season. You can see that they've been quite well trimmed back, so there's not a lot left of them, and at the moment they look quite woody, but in actual fact they will be really healthy plants in the spring, because we've taken all of the excess bits off, so the water that they get into their stems and then into their leaves will be doesn't have to go as far, because we gave them a really good prune. We cut them back a really long way. And then if we look this side, these are all raspberry plants. Now these ones are fresher, these ones are younger, so these ones do still look very spindly, but they will still produce plants. They've got a beautiful red colour. And then if we look into the next bed here, these are red currants. So these have got a lovely, lovely red colour to their bud. And they're only ever so spindly, and yet they're absolutely fine. They'll be really, hopefully fruitful, but really good plants. And then in the next couple of beds, these ones look really, really woody. This just because the plants are quite well established, but all of these back here are raspberries. So These ones will flower a bit later in the season. So at the moment, plants still look very bare, and they won't get their leaves until a bit later in the season, and then their fruit is even later than that. There are signs, if we get a bit closer to here, look, there are signs of the oddleaf, but there aren't tons and tons on those, and that's why, because they don't all fruit at the same time of year, so they are bare at slightly different times of the year. So fruit trees, deciduous, very much not evergreen, because they fruit and then that fruit falls off, in the same way as the leaves give way to everything else, and it's the one big cycle. And for us at the allotment, that makes it easier to know when to prune and things like that, so that we can cut them back and get rid of all of the dead bits, all of the leggy bits, and then that means that we get the best possible crop in terms of fruit the following year. We've got lots of growing to do. So deciduous trees can be great for lots of different things. They really help us to tell what season we're in. And when we're up here, the deciduous trees are the ones with all the fruit on, which is brilliant. So hopefully you've done lots of learning about deciduous trees. If you go out during the winter season, you'll spot which ones are, and hopefully during the spring and the summer they'll be beautiful, full of leaves, full of flowers or fruit, depending on what they are, and we can enjoy them for the joy that they bring us. Those evergreen trees are green all year round. They have their leaves all year round. Their leaves are generally thicker and waxier, and when all of the trees have got their leaves on, that's a really good way to tell. I think we did some great learning about trees today. Whatever you do with the rest of your day, have a great one. Bye bye.
Angel students, today I want to talk to you about one of my personal favorite methods of meditation. So last week we went through and did a very brief meditation, and we connected to our breath. We just relaxed, and anytime we noticed our minds wandering, we brought it back to our breath. So in this particular method of meditation, we're going to use something called visualization, and it's very, very similar to using your imagination, which I'm sure you use on a very consistent basis. So how sharp would you say your imagination is? How often would you say that you use your imagination? Is using your imagination or going into a world of imagination something that you find easy, or do you find that sometimes it might even catch you off guard, by surprise, and then all of a sudden you realize you were just off somewhere else enjoying your imagination and in the thoughts that you were having? Or is it something that you don't really think about, you don't really find yourself doing or getting lost in, unless moments like this, when someone brings it up, then you might think about using your imagination, or perhaps drifting off in thought and getting lost in your imagination. But I think most importantly, what is your understanding of an imagination? The definition of imagination is the act or power of being able to form a mental image in your mind of something that isn't actually present to your senses, whether it be taste, touch, and so on, and something that has perhaps never been seen in your reality. Getting lost in imagination can be an extremely fun thing to do. Imagination plays a part in so much of life. It plays a part in stories, in TV and film and new ideas. All of those things were born out of somebody's imagination. Somebody had the idea, somebody imagined it, and then turned it into a reality, turned it into something that was real. And if you take a story, for example, when you're telling a story or when you're reading a story, the story always has lots of detail. It will stir your senses. It will in turn make you use your imagination, because you start to see those details in your mind's eye and put a sense of colours and location and smells, or how things might feel, or exactly what they might look like. That is you using your imagination from the imagination of a writer from the story that you are perhaps reading. So When it comes to meditation and visualization, the goal is to focus on your preferred image and allow yourself to be fully immersed in the experience, fully involved, fully there, feeling it, seeing it, smelling it, touching it, tasting it. It just becomes very real, like a very clear picture or video or movie perhaps going on in your mind, and you almost get lost in the moment. You get lost in the imagination. So the best way to practice visualization meditation, and with any meditation in fact, is to always find a nice, quiet and comfortable space, somewhere where you will preferably not be interrupted or disturbed, so that you can fully relax and enjoy this moment, okay? And before you begin meditation, unless your meditation is specific to breath work, you want to take a few deep breaths before you begin, just to relax and regulate your body. So it's always important, once you've found your quiet space and you've gotten comfortable, whether you are sitting down or laying down, it's completely up to you. It's important for you to take a few deep breaths and get the body as relaxed as possible. That way, once you start to have certain thoughts and your imagination is getting stirred and you're getting really into the story of what it is you are visualizing, you're not concerned about how your body is positioned, because you've already taken the steps and the time to make sure that you're 100% comfortable. It may also help to do what's called a body scan. And I'll touch on that now, but we're going to go into that in more detail in our next lesson in meditation. And what the body scan is you basically paying attention to every part of the body and relaxing each part one at a time, okay? So for this particular meditation, we're going to take some deep breaths when we get into position and have me guide you through visualization so that you can stay on track. And as we go through, if there's ever a moment, just like with any moment that you're meditating, if you ever find your mind has wandered and you've gone off somewhere else, just go back to that last point of where you were. So as you're imagining, as you're visualizing, if you remember what you were doing or what you could see or what it felt like, anything, the color, whatever it is that you're visualizing, just go back to that last point so that you can pick up where you left off, okay? And also, there is no time restriction. There are no amount of breaths that are too many or too little to get you into a relaxed state. The main thing is that you go at your own pace when you're doing this by yourself, so that you feel comfortable with the pace that you're going. You can take as many deep breaths as you personally need to get you into a relaxed state. Sometimes it can help, if you are following a guided meditation, to perhaps just pause it once you've gotten into a comfortable position, so that you can take as many deep breaths and take as much time as you need to get into a completely relaxed state. And once you are fully relaxed, it is completely up to you where you allow your visualization and imagination to take you. It could be a favorite place that you like to go. It could be somewhere where you would like to go. It could be a beautiful beach. It could be a beautiful and tranquil forest. Wherever feels like somewhere you want to go in your visualization and your own imagination. And as you continue and you go into your visualization and you are deep in your imagination, just as with any story, you want to be as detailed as possible. You want to see every little detail, from the colors to how it feels, anything you can smell, if you taste anything, if you eat anything, what does it taste like? What's the texture like? How does it look? What are the colors you can see? All of those kinds of things to paint the perfect picture. What can you see? Is there anybody else there with you? Who's there with you if there is anybody else there? What are they doing? What are you doing? You understand? You want to get a real story. You want to add as much detail as you possibly can. And even if it's not full of detail, You want to be very clear and specific with what you can see. And once you're comfortable and familiar with those surroundings, you want to be so clear and familiar with those surroundings that you can see that you could stay there for a few minutes and be comfortable in doing so. So we're going to do a short guided visualization meditation. And as with any new technique, please remember that it takes practice. It is a skill. It is something that you learn and you enhance and you improve on over a matter of time. So as I've mentioned before, if you find your mind wanders, if you're finding it hard to get a specific picture in your mind, if you're finding it hard to see certain things, reach out and touch certain things, decide who is there, why they're there, what you're doing, I'm going to talk you through it. And as I mentioned, just take your time, go at your own pace, and it is something to practice before you become 100% skilled. So never be hard on yourself when it comes to these practices, okay? Everybody gets distracted when they're doing meditation. Everybody gets distracted at some point for some reason. So get into position and we will get started with our meditation. For this visualization meditation, imagine yourself 5 years into the future. So calculate how old you will be at that point. And you can liken it to an example of when people say, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? What would you like to be when you grow up? And have a think about who you would like to be when you grow up. What type of person would you like to be in 5 years' time? What would you like your character to be like in 5 years' time? What sort of reputation would you like to have about you in 5 years' time? If you could jump forward and see yourself in 5 years' time, what would you be doing? How would you look? What would your friendship circle look like? How would people speak about you? What hobbies would you have? And anything that you may be concerned about, you may want to change, you may want to look at it in a different way, or you would like it to look a different way. You would like some kind of resolution or a solution to something that you have that's going on, and you can absolutely decide what that looks like for you. How would you like that to look? What would be your biggest, happiest way of looking at that solution? What's the ultimate perfect outcome for you? These are the types of things that I'm going to guide you through in this meditation of visualization. Okay, so are you ready? Let's get started. So I would like you to get very, very comfortable. By now you should have your seated position, or if you are lying down, laying on your back, hands beside you. Same if you are seated, hands beside you or resting gently on the lap. To begin, we're going to take 6 deep breaths. And remember, when we breathe in, stomach goes out, and as we breathe out, stomach goes back in. Okay, so let's begin. And deep breath in and out. 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 Last one. Deep breath in and out. And I want you to take this time to think about 5 years into your future. You get to meet the future you in 5 years' time. You get to speak to yourself. You to ask. So here we go. What does it look like where you are? What's the scenery? What's the weather like today? What can you see around you? What is your future self doing? Feel free to ask your future self anything that you want to ask. What does your future self enjoy doing? What are your friends like? What is the connection with your family members like? Feel free to ask anything you want to ask. Your future self will answer everything. It will become as clear as the pictures you are seeing in your imagination right now. Take some time to enjoy and understand and know that anything that you want to create, you can do so in your mind. Enjoy. And now I ask that bring your imagination to life as you see where you are. You ask the questions you want the answers to. You get your answers and you relax into this visualization. Enjoy your surroundings, the details, the colors, the smells, the taste, the touch, and relax into it. As we bring this meditation to a close, come back into this present moment and relax until you are ready to open your eyes. I hope you enjoyed our guided visualization meditation.
Hi everyone, here's a video for Angel School. And let's do one breathing exercise before we do some exercise for the joints. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose. Okay, follow me in 1 foot point. Here we are. Exercise your wrists and ankles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Exercise your knee joints. 1. All the way down. 2. 3. 4. 5. Change. 1. 2. 3. Change. 1. 2. 3. Relax your hands. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Change. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Elbow arm. Hands reach out far as you can. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. One hand's higher, one hand's lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Body elbow look back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Arms straight, relax your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Change. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shoulders down, head up, neck. 1, 2, 3. Change. 1, 2, 3. Rolling your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax your back. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's do 10 push-up and squat jump for warm-up. Keep your hands on the floor. Bend it up. Jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's practice some punching. After you do push-ups, you're building some strength on your upper body, and then we can do some punching together. 2 foot point. Keep your foot point straight. Clench your fist. Elbow back. 1. Punch forward. Deep breathing. 2. Breathing in. And breathing out. When you're breathing in, collect the energy into your body. When you're breathing out, release the power. Feel the movement. In the beginning, you do slowly. You learn how to move your body, with your breathing. You learn to do elbow and punch same time, like bow and arrows. Now you can use a little bit of power. 10 times. 1. Elbow and punch, same time, like bow and arrows. 2. 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So this way you can practice a few times a day. Now we're going to practice first Kung Fu stance, 3.5 for the point. 1, 2, 3.5. So we're going to do some stretching for this Kung Fu stance. This is good for your hips and back function. Push your knee out. And breathing in when you look forward. Turn your body. Breathing out when you look to ceiling. Breathing in, look forward. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. So next one is Kung Fu stretch. Early you both bend your both leg, this time one leg bent, one leg straight. 1. When you feel stretch, focus on your breathing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Use your breathing to stretch. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now let's practice the Kung Fu stance. Marble change Kung Fu, yeah? From first stance and change to second one. First one and second one. Because in Kung Fu you change. The most important technique is from this stance change to another stance, yeah? So let's do 10 times. You can keep your hands on your knee if you want to. Slowly. 1. Breathing out when you change. 2. 3. 4. In the beginning you don't have to go too low. When you're a little bit better, you can go a little bit lower. 5. 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. You remember the punch with the stance. So you can cross your arm. Then when you change, you turn your body. When you turn left, you punch your left hand. When you turn right, you punch your right hand. Okay, let's do 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you punch, make sure you're breathing out. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. Inhale and exhale. And remember, once we Do one stretch first, and we do the kick with a change, marble change to gumbo. First stretch, keep your hand on your knee and try face together. See if you can use your hands touch the floor. 1. When you feel the stretch, focus on your breathing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your body to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. Turn your body to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Stand up slowly, breathing in, hands up, and breathing out. So this time we're gonna practice 10 for each leg with the kick. You can keep your face on your waist. Kick your right leg. And then marble, press comfort stance. And turn right. And this time punch your left hands. Okay, follow me. 1. Elbow. 2. Block. Punch. Yeah. Follow me. One more time. 1. Kick. Elbow. Block. Punch. Okay. 2 more time. 1. Kick. 2. Elbow. 3. Punch. 4. Last one. 1. Kick. 2. Elbow. 3. Block. Punch. 4. Okay, this time exactly the same, but change leg. Kick your left leg this time. 1. And the left elbow. And the left hand block. Punch your right hand. Okay, repeat 4 times. 1. Elbow. 2. Punch. 3. 3 more times. 1. 2. Elbow. 3. Block. Punch. Okay, 2 more times. 1. Elbow. Punch. Okay, last one. 1. Kick. 2. Marble. 3. Chance gumbo. Okay, inhale and exhale. When you practice in the beginning, you're learning the movement, you don't have to use too much power, you don't go too low. When you're getting better, you can release more power and keep your stance a little bit lower. Let's do one breathing exercise. And let's finish it today.
Please like and subscribe so you could get more and more lessons.